So yesterday I was doing my exchange. I don't know why I have this like frog in my throat kind of thing today, but maybe it's because it's overcast and a lot of humidity. Um, I don't know. And yesterday I went out to On the Rocks, my favorite bar, and I drank probably 3 or 4 of those big water container things they have because I feel like I've just been so thirsty the last couple of days. And the weather has not been terribly hot. It has been humid and then rainy. So I don't know what's up. But I woke up this morning with a little bit of congestion. So anyways, yesterday I was using heparin in my bag. And heparin is used to help combat the fibrin that builds up in the system because your body's just telling it to. It's just a natural thing that happens. And you want that because, God forbid, you're bleeding. It helps to stop that. So you don't want to not have fibrin in your system. However, in my situation, it's just that you need to control it because they like to go in and clog up your port. So go into the round part of that. It's like a little rubbery seal. And so after you've disinfected this for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, I think it's 3 minutes. I usually disinfect it for like 5. Mostly because what I end up doing is I set up my bag. There's like a little thing right here that you also put a drop of the Alcavis on. And so on there, and then also on top of this, it sits there and you just time it for at least 3 minutes. However, again, I usually do it for way longer because I'm multitasking. So I'm constantly doing other things. Usually it's like I'm going to get my cup of coffee or I'm gonna, get my dishes started, like soaking, and then I come back and I do what I need to do to get this set and ready. Well, yesterday I pulled out the covering and I went to inject it in, and it was a little bit difficult. So I pulled up a little and I went back down and I ended up sticking myself, which to me is really funny. Like, it's not a big issue. It didn't really hurt. But the problem is that needle was dull. Like, I don't know what happened in production, but it basically was really hard to get into this little rubbery thing. And when that happens, just get rid of the needle. Like, you always want to make sure you have plenty of backup for things to take into consideration that some things are just not going to be your day, and it's just not going to work, and you're going to be having to deal with these weird issues that pop up. And so I just did away with it because typically Davita gives me a whole bunch of them, and so I had plenty to pick a new one from. But if your needle is dull, don't try to use it because it's just disastrous. Plus, my thing is, like, this little rubber gasket is designed to have a sharp needle go through it to help minimize any germs that can get into this bottle. And then once you've used it, what I do is once I've injected my bag with it, then I go ahead and hang it. You have to shake it first so that it gets, all mixed in. Then I hang it, and then I go to the fridge and put this in there so that the coldness of the fridge helps detour any bacterias that might develop. And that's another thing, is you don't want a bunch of bacteria in here. So I'm thinking if you have a dull needle that you're trying to jam into this hole, you're actually creating a larger hole that bacteria could get into, and that's not good. You don't want that madness. Because why? We don't want peritonitis. That's right. So that was my lesson yesterday. Plus I got stuck, but it's not a big deal. I have gotten stuck before with the needle in trying to just be in a hurry. And that's another thing, is like, you can't be in a hurry. You don't want to be in a hurry. Like, this is just the way it is. It takes time, and you need to take the time to take the time. And hurrying through it is always just a disaster. So there's that. Another thing is that I am on low on my supplies, and so I can't believe that already they're going to be coming again. I feel like just last week I was like, they're coming. But it seems to me that they are coming pretty quick this month. And that sometimes happens where they have to rotate you in a little sooner. But mathematically, they figure out how to cover everything. Like, I'm sure if I sat down with it and figured out their algorithm to how they know how many bags you need and all of that. But I don't know, because it's not like we will be there every 17th at whatever time, you know, like it bounces around the dates, and it's just, to me, it's like mind-blowing. I don't know why it can't just be on the day, but I don't work for them, so who knows. That's how I would do it, but maybe that's not the most effective way, because I can imagine that must fluctuate due to people who get off, people who move, people who pass away. Maybe all of those probably factor into when your deliveries actually come. In my apartment complex, for the most part, it's always just been me. But there have been times when I've seen the DaVita driver here with a delivery that isn't my delivery, and it isn't my day. So I don't know how that happens either. Of course, when you do travel, they will deliver to your place that you're going to, for the most part. So maybe that's what happens as well. So I guess there are a lot more factors than just straight delivery. Yeah, that's why I don't work there. So anyhow, other than that, things are really good. I think I'll have Charlie later today. And yeah, then I'll go out tonight. Last night I went out too, like I said, too, on the rocks, which was really fun. But gosh, we didn't end up getting home till 11:30, so that means not to sleep till like 12:30. And when it's overcast like this too, I feel like in the mornings I start to go into really deep sleep. And so it's almost like your mind thinks it's still nighttime. And it was, I woke up at 4:30 and I thought, okay, I'm going to get up. And then I laid down there for a minute before I realized it was 6:30. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get out there. Because even though the weather is cooler, it's the humidity for us, at least. We're not used to it. We're used to just the dead, dry heat that burns your soul. Where when you add the humidity, it's just a whole nother nightmare. And so I grabbed Smokey and I was like, let's go outside and go potty. So I took him out and it was beautiful. It was almost chilly. And I was grateful for that. So, yep, it's exciting times. It's an exciting day today, just getting through it. But I feel like revitalized whenever the heat isn't just so harsh. So, yeah. Plus, you know, picking up the groceries and coming up the steps and all of that. It's easier when the weather is really, really nice. So, which I went and grabbed them already, and I have to put them away. So, one of the things I want to try this next week is making homemade spring rolls. Anyways, that's my exciting life. It's every day, you know, every day's a little different, but it's still a good life. Again, I'm super thirsty these last couple of days. Oh, and another thing I'm trying to figure out is whether it's cheaper to buy that water, that 5-gallon water dispensing thing that will filter water, or if it's cheaper to like go and hire somebody, like Sparklets, I think is one. Costco, I think, has one, like a water delivery system, because we use a lot of water, and I don't like to use a lot of plastic, but that's what we end up doing. And I really want to try to focus in on using less and less plastic as much as possible. And I think that the water is one of the biggest sources we have, because like for Tupperwares and stuff like that, we actually don't have plastic really. We have glass bowls. They do have like a plastic lid, plastic style lid kind of thing. I think you can't get away with not using those kinds of lids, but we try to use and reuse glass jars or glass items. So we're not really wasteful that way, but it's the water bottles lately that I'm like, man, we could just keep using them. You know, if you use 2 of them at least for your morning coffee to create coffee, and then you're drinking them throughout the day, and then you're also like when I make pho, I use that because we don't use our apartment water for anything but like washing dishes, or if you have to really boil something, then it's fine. But I just try to stay away from using it as much as possible, especially ingesting it. Like I don't even give it to Smokey. Smokey gets bottled water. I don't want him to have stomach issues. So that's my next adventure, is trying to figure out that, whether or not it's cheaper just to buy it from the store, which is a huge purchase because they're usually over $100. Even Amazon, Walmart, wherever you're going to go, they're like over 100. And then you have to get all the extra things, you know, like there's filters, you know, how many filters come with it, what are the filters cost in the end, what are the water bottles cost, how heavy are they, because, you know, like I'm not going to be able to carry that at all. So that's going to have to be a Donnie thing. But then I also feel bad because I'm like, he's a grandpa, and I don't know that he should be carrying something like that up the steps. But if we had the water delivered, then somebody else could do that. Plus, they make them now, which my son has, the kind that goes in the bottom cabinet, so you're not even lifting it and flipping it over. It's literally just, in fact, I want to say that maybe they don't even have those hardly anymore, the ones that flip over, because I think that they're just a problem. They're just hard. But I don't know. So that's my weird thing right now. I'm just trying to figure all that out. So yeah. All right. Well, anyways, I'm going to let you go. As I'm talking about water, I'm getting more and more thirsty, and it looks like my bag is pretty much done emptying. So this is my first exchange, and then I'll be back here at 10-ish, 10:30. So talk to you guys later. Have a great one. Bye-bye.